The Canvas Clotcast is live. It is live now. I just came off of TikTok and I did not get banned today. Congratulations. Congratulations. Hey, happy 420 everybody.
Hi. Hi.
If you're in the comments, let us know. We'll give you guys a second to gather around, if you will.
Sorry, I was reading about this slushy maker.
We'll have to check it out and then see if we could brand it after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or at least put it in our shop so we can make some money off of it. I would say holler at Eureka Vapor, Eureka Crave, Eureka Cure. Holla. Holla holla. For today's wonderful, wonderful high. How you doing, Next? It's good to see you. It's good to see you. That's what I got going on over here is a Eureka Cure live resin premium joint.
Awesome.
It's delicious. Smells so good when I opened it up. Apple fritter and peach pie? Peaches and cream. Peaches and cream.
Nice. Nice.
I wanted them all to be pies. They weren't. So we'll give it a couple more minutes for everybody to get in and say hello. If you're in the comments, please say hello because we can only see that there are 3 Facebook viewers. That's the one we could see. I think we figured that out finally. So I have a couple of rants today. And then we also have a couple of announcements that we need to make before we jump off. And what's up, Katie?
Hi, Katie.
And so there's a couple things that we got to talk about, but we want to talk about 710, the origins, and like what's the difference between concentrates and kind of stuff like that. So we're going to be talking about that today for sure. But we'll probably get a little bit of business out of the way first.
Business.
So we'll say that's at the end of the show too, so everybody gets it. Maybe we should write down that we should say it at the end of the show. But so we are about to take a summer hiatus, and also, a little bit sorry. We are taking it earlier than we had previously mentioned. So today is actually going to be our last show. So I encourage everybody.
Just for July,
not the last show ever, but just for this summer. So we're going to take a little summer hiatus. I encourage you to hit the little bell wherever you're watching. Get alerts for us. Subscribe, follow, all that stuff, so that you know when we're coming back. We will be posting other social media things, but we're going to be handling some stuff, gathering our thoughts, preparing for the next the rest of the year, basically, and just overall, getting a good nap in probably as well.
I don't know how many naps are happening for me, but
no, because you're gonna be working.
Well,
so you're going to Florida, right, on Wednesday?
I leave on Wednesday for Florida.
Which is why we're not doing a show. Like, I thought about, should I do a show and bring on a guest? And I still might. So set your alerts. You never know. I might feel feisty that day.
You might feel it for us, yeah.
But as
hey, sister.
Overall.
Oh, hey, Schnook.
Hi. How are you?
Sister was like, "You're doing a 710 show, like on concentrate." She's like, "I need to listen."
Concentrates, focus. Funny. A couple things. So yeah, where do we want to start, man? There's so many things. There's the weekend, which we both had different weekends. And then also I kind of wanted to talk about something that it came up on my TikTok, actually, on my TikTok page. So I want to kind of talk about that a little bit too.
Okay. What was it?
It was okay. So we'll just start there. I guess this is my rant for the day. If you guys want to know, I'm not really angry. I'm just like tired of it, you know? And I guess there's okay. So where do we begin? So I'm on TikTok, and I've been perusing it here and there a little bit more often. And there's a couple things happening on TikTok that I want to make everybody aware of. So the first thing that's happening on TikTok, and it has been happening since like last month, which I'm so sporadic. I'll take a whole month off, or a month where I'm just like not really paying attention and not really posting. So I didn't know this was happening, but there's this challenge on TikTok. Let me know if you're on TikTok and you know about this. And I've already failed the challenge. I just want everybody to know that I've failed it full stop. But so sorry about that. So the challenge is called the 10K challenge, and it's a challenge to white creators to not post themselves, basically, not completely not post, but like not post themselves basically until September 22nd, for a few reasons that this idea came up. One of the reasons is because TikTok actively shadow bans a lot of creators who are not white. So non-white creators get shadow banned. They don't get as much airtime, if you will, as white creators for similar or same content, right? And I'm not talking about creators like me, where I got like 11.8 thousand followers, but my views are like always low. I'm shadow banned for a different reason. But I'm not even like, I understand what, you win some, you lose some. TikTok is whatever for me. I like going on there because I feel like I get a little bit more interaction on there than my other apps, but generally I kind of hate it. It's a love-hate relationship. Back to the story. So part of the 10K challenge is that like you don't have to go dormant for 2 months, but it's to help uplift other voices. So if you're not there speaking, then other people who are not white have opportunity to have their voice heard, right? So that's kind of the point. And the suggestion was like you could repost other creators, repost Black and brown creators, repost indigenous creators, repost creators who are not white, who are not getting all of the play. So that was part of it. And so I actually did that. Once I saw that, I saw it in July. This is the first time I've seen it. So I was like, maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's a thing I'm going to try to do, not post myself so much. What TikTok will also do though, that kind of puts a damper on it, and it's a point that's been made, is they'll pull from your archive and they'll still post those white creators, maybe more. But it's in an effort to say, hey, TikTok.
Oh, what? They'll like repost your like, or
old
show up.
They won't repost it, but they'll reel it into the For You page, so people start seeing it and anyways.
Crazy. And
it's a crazy whole thing. I don't even understand it fully.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this: please watch the video all the way through. I don't care what app you're on. Whatever app you're on, the algorithm can identify whether or not a video got watched partially or like all the way through, and that affects views and shadow banning and things. So if you're really interested in what's going on the screen and you're really interested in that creator, definitely give them the time that they took to create that video. Anyways, so this thing was going on. It's called the 10K challenge, right? And then the first video I saw of it was, of course, that there are white ally creators. I did put that in the quotations. I did put ally in the quotations. I'll get there. So these white ally creators are like, my voice is important. And I was just like, yeah, you've missed the point, like totally.
Right.
And so,
Even just what people are doing, like you've done, where you do you're off
right,
screen, but you're sharing someone else's.
right.
Yeah.
So I did that. I have a couple. I've been doing that lately just for important messages.
Hmm.
I've done like a fan shot where you like can see my fan going, and then just let the video duet without me in it. Because I'm not important right here, right? It's this message is what's important. So I want you to hear the message without paying attention to what I'm doing.
Right.
Um, don't hey, listen, side note, don't go on TikTok and say that thing that I just said. Because if you go on TikTok and say, "Hey, when you're reposting another creator, I don't need to see what your face is doing, blah blah, and what you're blah blah blah," and so then you're gonna go viral for a different reason. They're gonna make fun of you for sure. It's happened. It just happened actually, and I've seen it happen before. Anyway, so back to the thing. So a bunch of white women creators were like, nah, 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 nah about it, right? And then they pointed that out. Other creators pointed that out, like, look who's complaining is these people who claim to be allies and claim to listen to what we're saying, and then fully getting defensive when we say the thing, or tone policing. That's another thing that happens a lot, especially to people of color, especially to Black women. So I reposted a ceiling fan video duet with a creator, a black woman creator, and her grievance, and in the comments you can see she's not alone in this, right? Her grievance is that white women had basically taken a song that was not created to celebrate white women, and then they used it for, I would say, a cause that is that affects all women and people with uteruses, right? They use it as an anthem, if you will, to disparage the recent overturning of Roe versus Wade. And the lyric in the song is about how, women are the ones that are like creating and carrying the child, so it's nobody else's decision about what happens there, right? And so that's the lyric that's being pulled out. And it's a bunch of videos with white women, right, with the lyrics there. And so then, rightfully, listen, I'm not going to say that I didn't feel like a little bit of a relationship with that lyric, particularly when this happened, right? And when they were talking about this happening, I'm not going to say that I didn't feel that too. But
Right.
here's the thing. It's first of all, I'm not usually one to go first. I'll admit that. I sit back and watch everybody else go first and see what happens. If nobody gets hurt, then I'll just go give it a shot, right? So I was why, and I don't like trends either. I don't jump on a lot of trends either, which is probably why I don't have high viewership. But so she kind of called out these women, right? And she was like, this song was made for Black women to celebrate Blackness. It was even dedicated in the music video. If you go back and you can see it on my TikTok, it's on my TikTok. You can go back and see. Watch the video. I encourage you to do so. And actually, I encourage you, go ahead and watch my video and like it. But please take the time to watch the original creator, because that's really what I want when I do a video that does not include me. And also, if I use somebody else's sound, I'll say in caption, hit that record and go like the original video, because we want to give credit to the original creators for this. This is not my idea, right? This is not at all my words.
Right.
So you can see in the video is dedicated to 3 different people, all different people of color, and women or children. And then the video doesn't have a single white woman in it. There's not a single white woman in that video. It's not made for us. So one of my followers / friends said, "Yeah, I did this and I got torn apart and I took it down immediately." Good job. You took it down. You listened to what was said and you paid attention. You didn't get offended. You didn't say, "Oh my God, you're attacking me." You
Right.
said,
I'm loud.
oh God.
I'm
Yeah,
loud.
sorry. Right. Sorry, my bad. I didn't even realize, right? Took
Right.
it down. Perfect.
Right.
And you know, I addressed that. I addressed that video first. I was like, yeah, this here's the thing is the Roe versus Wade fight is all of our fights, whether you got a uterus or not, but especially if you have a uterus, it's all of our fights, right?
Yep.
It doesn't matter what your outside looks like. It affects us all. And that's great. And that's a great statement to make. However, and also, this protest, this is being organized generally and overall speaking by majority white women, and also statistically speaking, white women get a majority of abortions that are performed in the United States of America. We did not do our trigger warning. Hey, we're going to talk about whatever the fuck we want to on here. That's a trigger warning.
It's the whole and
Welcome.
Welcome if you're new. Thanks for being here. Everyone that likes to hang with us,
Y'all already know. So
you know the truth.
So I get that part of it, but then what happens is that this is being organized and brought together by majority white women, right? And then also y'all are. I say y'all. I know I'm a white woman. Y'all are taking shit. Songs. Okay, that's not our anthem. Pick a different anthem for this. Pick an anthem that includes everybody, including yourself. This anthem doesn't even include you. Like, it's not even talking about you.
Yeah.
Stop kneeling during the national anthem for yourself. If you are in a situation, if you're in a place where it's recognized that the reason that you're kneeling is to protest police brutality, then we kneel in solidarity with that cause, with that protest, right?
Right.
Not for abortion rights. That's somebody, because that takes away from the original reason why we were kneeling, right? And we still need attention on that. Because
yes,
because police are still killing young black men for no reason, okay? For door dashing and minor traffic violations. So we still need that. The hand over the mouth is a symbolic of missing and murdered Indigenous women, and we still need attention on that cause, because there are so many unidentified missing women, and some have been murdered, and we need to still pay attention to that. So pick a different way to express your outrage. Turn your back on that motherfucking flag. Flip that bitch upside down, because that's a sign of distress when you hang it outside of your house, right? Do those things. That's an overall sign of distress. If you are in distress, you hang the American flag upside down. It's a sign when you turn your ID upside down, when you're going through like a military post, that you're in distress, things like that. So that's not taking away from a different cause, right? So I said all of that. I said all of those things. And another one of my friends / followers, I consider also a friend. I love you, girl. I'm not gonna call you out here, but brought her white self into my comments and said she could not get behind the idea of like policing or gatekeeping music. She didn't say it like that. I entered that phrase. And that's not what's happening. That's not at all what somebody, like, music is here for us to enjoy, right? And it's supposed to bring us together, not tear us apart. I understood where she was going with her point, but completely missed mine, right?
Right.
And so I addressed this. I was like, I mean, you could put it aside if you want, which is real easy for you to do if you have white skin. You can put shit aside. It doesn't really affect you ever. It never affects you really. If you have a uterus, it might affect you sometime. But I did say something in one of those videos where like white women are just a step down in privilege from white men. Yeah, we don't have as much clearly privilege as they do, but we still are very privileged individuals, generally speaking. And we cannot ignore that and that fact at all. So I said, you know, you could pretend, you know, whatever, but when you say you're an ally and then you don't listen when somebody speaks and shares something, a valid point, a valid position. And also, nobody's saying you can't enjoy Tupac. I love Tupac. Oh fuck, I love Tupac.
Right.
But what they're saying is, hey, stop using a song that was created for us in our community to front for this cause. It's not just white women's cause; it's everybody's cause, like I said. But you know, anyway. So
right. There are other songs that can be used as you know.
For sure. This rant isn't even really about that even. So we went through all that. This rant is about this. White women especially find ourselves defending ourselves when somebody tells us we're wrong. White men do it too, way more often. But that like all you, if you disagree with what has been said, there's a couple things you could do. You could like snuff your nose at it and do the video anyway, right? Or you could listen and say, I wasn't, you know, it's not my thing. I'm just going to step out of this, right? And just not say anything. Sometimes I say this all the time. And I used to say all the time in my classes, what's up? Welcome. I used to say this all the time in my classes. Wait, why am I talking? There's a TikToker who uses that phraseology. She uses that all the time, and I'll have to look her up. She's like, I think she's the white woman whisperer or something like that. Something like that. Where she gently tells white women what they're fucking up, but not so gently. With a little, she's great. Anyways, so that's the thing is that like, why did you find the need? Why did you feel the need to come into the comments and express yourself like that? Because that's like, you didn't have to. You could have just, I don't really agree with that, and moved on. Like, you don't have.
You can even type it out and not hit send. I do that.
Yeah, you could have done that. But she kept coming back, like defending herself. Like, no, I do listen and I do respect and I do understand. I said, but like then there's no need to explain yourself.
Then there's no need to put it on social media. Just exactly. Do then. I didn't know this was a TikTok trend. One of my friends who is just a Tupac lover, like, you know, and just all around, you know, she's always been an ally, and you know, she just did a quote of it and posted it on her wall. She did not do a TikTok anything to it. You know, just what's that?
I said he wasn't wrong. That line is not wrong. Yeah. That line can apply to every single woman in America, but he wasn't talking to us, and he made it real clear. And he did interviews about it.
Right.
Made real clear who he was talking about, you know, the people that made him feel like his blackness was a gift and not a curse. Mm-hmm. He was talking about those individuals.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, again, it's not about a song. It's about the need to come into the comments and defend ourselves when we don't agree with something that a person who is not white has said about something like this, right? It happens at protests too, where, you know, sometimes we just need to be quiet. It's like this. Okay. I've been thinking about this for a while. I made some videos about it. You guys can go check them out. Please do go like them, love them, whatever. One time, first of all, this is how I always operate, but there was one time you were there. We were in Missouri. We were sitting outside having a little sesh, and we had music, and Kevin Gates came on, right? I love Kevin Gates. Oh my God, I love Kevin Gates. But he says some stuff in there that I'm not repeating, right? Because I look how I look. And a friend of ours had pointed it out. Like we were all there was a group of us.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of ours had pointed it out, said, "Hey, why you skip that part? Like I just stop. And then keep singing, right?" And he said, "Why you skip that part?" And I said, "Because that's not for me. That's not something that's not mine."
Right.
And he said, "Well, it wouldn't offend me if you used it." Right.
Right.
Okay. Well, the reason I don't use it is because it may not offend every person that's around me that knows me and knows my intentions and etc. They may not offend any of those individuals. But it would offend some individuals, whether I know them or not, and that's not how I operate. I don't operate, and so, in my opinion, white people have enough. So it's okay with me if there's a couple words that I can't use in my vocabulary or I shouldn't use. It's okay with me if there's a song that I love that song. I turn it up when it comes on. That doesn't relate to me at all, and that I should not use as an anthem to my cause. Right? It doesn't bother me. Why doesn't it bother me? Because I got everything else. Like literally, I have everything else. Like, tell me what I don't have. You tell me as a white woman what I don't have, except autonomy to my uterus. But I live in Colorado, so yeah, I do.
Yeah.
For now, for the time being.
Right, but you've also already had your,
also expired. We are expired. They call you geriatric in your 30s, okay? When it comes to your uterus. So I'm well past geriatric. My uterus, according to medical science, is probably close like 1 foot in the grave right now. If geriatric is in your 30s, death has to be in your 40s or 50s, right? So yeah. Anyways, for the full story on that, and for the full commentary on that, and honestly, if you're in the comments and you want to add to anything that I've said, or have a question or would like some elaboration, I don't know, whatever, well, let's do it. Let's talk about it. But I can't abide. I'm not. If you're my friend too, by the way, if you're my friend, don't take offense. I'm not saying this to you because I want you to feel, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want you to feel offended by what I've said. The reason that I speak, especially to other white women about these things, is because most of the time we listen to each other, to people who look like we look. Generally speaking, that's a human characteristic. We listen really well to others that are in our circles and in our friend groups. I have made it my responsibility, because I do not think it's the responsibility of those who have had to endure the bullshit from the privilege that I receive systematically. And so that's why I do it too. And I want you to learn. I want my friends to be the best. And sometimes we make a misstep. I made a misstep months ago. Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember when it was Halloween? And I posted some really, what I thought was really cute decorations. And we had a whole conversation about it.
Yeah.
It was cute decorations. It was skeletons, and it was a luau. But I really did not understand the history behind luau's. We can replay that show maybe while we're on hiatus. I didn't really understand the history behind it and how it could be very offensive, culturally speaking, to native populations in from Hawaii or from tribes that are from that area, because there's a really dark history around that. And when it was first brought to my attention, what did I do? What did I do? I defended my actions. What? And then I couldn't stop thinking, you guys, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And so I researched it a little bit, and I got a better understanding of how I was wrong. I didn't set up the decorations. I celebrated the decorations, but I didn't set them up. I went back to the person who called me out and apologized for the way I acted. I said, I'm sorry that I got defensive and stopped, because when you get defensive, you have stopped listening.
Yeah.
That's what I want. If you're my friend and I want you in my life, trust I'm going to correct you. And I expect the same. And we might get a little upset at each other in that moment, but I also expect that we can come back to the table and have an adult discussion, because that's what we are. We're adults.
Right.
And I'm not calling you out to hurt your feelings or embarrass you or make you feel bad about who you are as a person. I'm calling you out because we've been trained to behave a certain way. I brought this up in one of the videos. We've been trained to respect others in a way that's wholly disrespectful as white people. And that's all I'm saying. Sometimes it's not our fault, but when we realize the action, then we need to take accountability. And that's what that is. So that's my rant today. White women and white people in general, don't get defensive when somebody calls you out. Let's have a conversation about it, about why. Like, we could really sit and have a conversation about why I think I'm correct in this and you think you're correct in this, and we could like talk it out. But like a defensive action in the comments, like come in the comments and say, can you kind of like explain this a little bit more, because it's not resonating with me and I really would like to understand it.
I think most people would, that want to know will, but there are people out there that just want to argue. They're not there to listen. They're not there to be, to hear what you have to say. They're just going to continue to, push. And, so definitely don't entertain.
I think there's this piece too, as white people. I feel this piece too. I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to be real honest with you guys. I feel this all the time. Is proven allyship. Like, you must know that I am not racist, right? You must know that. So I'm going to tell you all the time. And when you call me out for something that could be potentially seen as such, I'm going to tell you why it's not, because I'm not racist. Here it is, you guys. If you were raised white, yeah, you are a little bit there. Not on purpose, not like consciously, but there are things in society that have been made specifically for us that we benefit from that we don't realize, and then we miss out on other lived experiences, and sometimes dismissing those lived experiences, that is a mild form of racism. It really is. Here's the thing. Can you come back and be honest with yourself and hold yourself accountable and pay attention when it starts happening again, so you stop that behavior altogether? Because the thing is, white America has to unlearn racism. Like I said, we were taught to respect others and other people's cultures in a very disrespectful way. And additionally, if we went to public school or any type of really almost any type of like religious private school, a lot of our history is whitewashed. We don't even know. You got to figure out what the truth is about it. And when you do, you have to hold yourself accountable for your past actions. You have to be sincere in your apologies and your effort to change the way that you behave in those same situations in the future, because it is going to happen again, where somebody's going to say something about a subject that you thought that you were allying about, but in reality, they're saying, hey, your allyship is shit in this situation. That's what's happening. Right? You're saying you're an ally, but you're not listening to what we say. So your allyship is shit. And then, oh, clutch your pearls. Oh my Lord. Are you calling me a racist? Like, really, that's really the reaction. That's really right. And no.
Yeah.
All
right, babe. Yeah. We're 35 minutes in, and I'm sorry. Like, I know we could. We could keep on going. But we've still got a whole show.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. But anyways, that's my rant. That's my rant. And just white ladies, white people in general, do better. Active listening requires that you be quiet and don't come up with a response for a conversation, because sometimes it's not a conversation. Sometimes you're just being informed, and be grateful for that. So next next on the list.
All right. Next on the list, every month is a national something has to be, America has to be made aware of month. So today, July, is National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. So I don't have any facts pulled up about that other than that. And also, there are other July national.
Go to therapy. That's your fact on that. Everybody, therapy is great.
And here's now that we're being aware that there's we need to be aware that there's mental health for minority. Maybe we should do something about it. Maybe
there's okay. So there is an issue surrounding that a little bit. I don't know a lot. I say a little bit because I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. But it's really important for somebody to be able to have a therapist that they can somehow relate to. And often that's difficult for people who aren't white.
Well, yes, finding someone, relatable in their field,
in their lived experiences too.
Right. And so it's
like for a black man to have a black male therapist, or even a black woman therapist, to understand that when he was a child, his parents literally sat him down and had a conversation about how he should behave around the police. That's been happening since for fucking ever. That's generational trauma, actually.
Yeah.
To have that discussion with somebody who's not had that lived experience would be, first of all, difficult for the therapist to be able to help with tools for that, to help, deal with that or work through that. So yeah, and that's really important. Your therapist should have tools in their tool bag that'll help you. And if they don't understand your lived experience, just generally speaking, even, how could they? So this is great. That's why we have these months, right?
Yes. But also there are about 20, no, I would say about 15 other national months. There's a
I love this list.
Independent Retailer Month, Blueberry Month.
Blueberry Month. Is that July?
Yeah.
I love blueberries.
That's why you've been getting the big ones.
Yes, they're so good.
Contract Sewing Month.
What? Wait, what?
I mean, I guess for big orders. I don't or
Isn't it like those big machines?
maybe it doesn't give you a clickable link. Oh, wait. Oh, National Contract Sewing Month. No, it just shows. I'm not going to click on it. We'll keep going. If you want to know about National Contract Sewing Month,
I don't even know what that is. Does anybody know what contract sewing is?
someone
Like,
in the comments, do a little Google for me while I read the rest of this. So, what is the National
put
Contract
Kelly on
Sewing
it. Kelly,
Month?
are you still here?
We've got National Baked Bean Month.
Yes.
National Cell Phone Courtesy Month.
Wait,
Be courteous with your cell phones, people,
y'all.
all day. This is something not once, all just for a month. This is all year long thing.
Everyone. Hey, listen, keep it off the speakerphone. Don't nobody else want to hear your conversation. Put an AirPod in. Put your headphones on.
It's culinary. What?
One more. Don't play your music for everybody else. Nobody else gives a shit about your. Are you at your own party? Are you in your own group?
Are you a DJ for reals?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. We have Culinary Arts Month,
Yes.
Grilling Month. Of course, it's July. It's Grilling Month. It is.
Did you say growing month or grilling month?
Grilling, like
people
grill out, like grilling. National Hemp Month.
Woo woo! Holla!
It is National Horseradish Month, National Hot Dog Month, as well as National Ice Cream Month.
How did an organic product like hemp get in the same category with hot dogs, or the same month with hot dogs? And boo, America!
I got more. I got 5 more. No, 6 more. No, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Fragile X Awareness Month. I don't know what the X is, if it's fragile with or times awareness, or it just says fragile capital X awareness.
I thought you meant X like EX, and I was like, I got a few of those. Some fragile.
No, just large capital X.
Different thing. It's a different thing.
Let's see what we've got.
I was going to celebrate.
Picnic Month, Peach Month, and World Watercolor Month.
What was the one before peaches?
Picnic
Month. Why so many foods? Because it's hot outside and people are eating all the foods.
Yeah, I would feel like some of that falls under picnic. Like,
I feel like it does. Or barbecue.
Grilling.
The grilling one. Yeah, like you could put hot dogs under that, right?
Those all go under picnic. I mean, even ice cream gets it, could fall under there, but what am I saying?
Hey, no, you're right. Because
we need a baked bean month. We got
that could go under grilling too. Like that could go under grill or picnics. That could go under that. Contact sewing
service. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, contact. Oh shit. Here it is. Contact sewing is a specialized industry that provides services to manufacturers to produce a wide range of products using highly skilled workers and technology and advanced sewing.
Oh, so the people that I work for use contract sewing. So happy contract sewing. Thank you for your
service
skills.
So does that mean like if that means like if Alexander Wang creates like a garment that the people that do mass produce that garment it wouldn't be Alexander, right? Because he does specialized stuff, right?
Well, this would be his. They have different. They
have a fast fashion line.
Yeah, so it'll be based off of whatever was on the runway. It'll be a street version of that.
And that's what these people do. Is that
and then from there it's broken into even further down knockoffs and stuff like that, and
which are all owned by the same
inspired buys. Looks.
So that's what a contract sewer does then?
It does all the manufacturing of the garment or product. Garment.
Holler to those of you who are not being overworked and underpaid. Holla if you live in the United States. Anybody who lives overseas doing that is being really chump changed.
Okay, yeah, I can't.
That'll be a whole nother show. That'll be like maybe during the hiatus we'll be like, hey, we just felt like doing a show, so we're gonna talk about this because I know you want to talk about it.
I just be like, yeah, I'm getting ready to go to a trade show where I'll be working with companies that do.
Hey, listen, you got to pay the rents.
Yes, and yeah, so, and I don't know. I think, the more we talk about being conscious and about sustainable fashion, I think that the conversation can be changed. But it's still an industry. It's still people want it. Like we just have to think about it differently.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. And so that's all I got for our, while we're doing our actual talk, and then I can come back and do some Black history, women's history, and Pride history.
For sure. So do we want to start at the beginning?
Let's start at so the beginning is you going down to Denver for the 710 party. And, coming, and so we got this idea of like, yeah, let's do a little recap, and then it turned into you like, okay, let's talk about this because there are so many questions. Even though we've done methods of use, concentrate talks, but I feel like we came back with a few more questions and a little bit more preparation and notes than I was last time at the Eureka.
Yeah. So holler at Eureka, Eureka Vapor, Eureka Cure, Eureka Crave threw a 710 party in Denver this weekend on 710, which was yesterday. Happy 710. I hope you guys got full of concentrates and yummy goodies. And holler at Kelsey for party planning. That party was amazing. It was so great. It was so well planned. People really enjoyed themselves. Really, really can't say enough good things about it. It was a really fun night. The DJ was amazing. The security guard was hot as always. So it was an overall good time. And I worked last night, and a few of our friends worked last night, and it was just a really good time. So that's where we were. I was like, hey, let's talk about what is 710 and where does it come from and how did it start? So my basic understanding of 710 is it started as someone just flipped it upside down. So if you flip 710 upside down, it spells oil. Right? It comes from like old oil caps on cars that used to say oil, like, and then you flipped it. Yeah, it would say 710.
A meme, or there's a whole joke about it. Sorry.
Yeah. So I guess sometime around 2011, we've got some of this information from the primeleaf.com article about it. I guess somewhere around 2011, people started associating 710 with cannabis concentrates and oils and extracts and things of that nature. And then as 420 is a holiday for cannabis overall, 710 became another holiday that we celebrate in the cannabis industry. They've done fests or
Earl Cups,
like those festivals types of things around 710. And so that's kind of where it started. Generally speaking, you see 420 friendly, that usually generally will say, hey, we're weed friendly. But you might also see 710 friendly, which means that they generally do concentrates there. They don't want the flowers. So maybe inside is 710 friendly and outside or in an outer space is 420 friendly kind of thing, Right. And so and that's a great little article. It pretty much breaks it down, the understanding of what 710 is and where it came from. I don't know who started the trend. It could have, ideas sometimes come from many spaces. So somebody in one state saw it and did it, and somebody in another state also did it.
It's like how catchphrases catch on.
Yeah, they just catch on.
Like everyone's like, I came up with that phrase, and you're like, I've been saying that since. Right. And and it just goes back and back and back, trying to origin stories. But
your ideas are not usually that original, honestly.
Right.
Like if somebody's already thought of what you
right. And but I could see where the oil 710 just kind of
and popped up.
But
somebody was like, oh, look at that,
but concentrates, when we're talking about concentrates and extracts, this is predates the 2000s, and so I think there's even questions that I have, in comparison to, what we were doing, what before dabs were called dabs, or before knife hits were called knife hits, or and I think there's just this whole other culture too, outside of how it's used medicinally, how and so that's what we're gonna try to get into here. But I'll post the Prime Leaf article on our page. Y'all definitely.
She said it's 7:10 Eastern right now. Whenever we were talking about it.
See, sister, jump back in. She.
So we're going to talk about that. Oils are concentrates, but we're going to talk about solid concentrates versus oil concentrates, distillates versus other types of extractions. What was I going to say? I don't remember, but I'll think of it in a minute.
One of the things that when I was pulling and reading some stuff is that something that a little note from another article was that he said that extracts are concentrates, but not all concentrates are extracts.
That's a valid point. Yeah. So that you brought me back to what I was thinking about. Concentrates started simple, when you're trimming your flour, often you'll get residue on your fingers. Oftentimes that's formed into like balls and bricks, if you will, and those are hash bricks. And so that's where I've read some history about it starting way back in in China, and they would have the little. So this is concentrated because it's all of the sugars, if you will, the terpenes and the cannabinoid compounds are all concentrated into this one little space, as opposed to when you consume flour, is just kind of dispersed in a different way. So it's taken from the whole plant, the hash, and that's kind of where concentrates kind of started. It's a concentrated product of the plant, but it's solventless, right? So hash doesn't have any alcohol to create it, doesn't need butane to create it, doesn't need that stuff. Like original hash, it would just be like this dark brick of just all of the oils that came off of that plant, basically.
And so that's considered solventless when we're talking when people are the difference between, again, extract and concentrate.
Right. So that's not an extracted product, because an extracted product means that we took that plant and we somehow pulled, like, did something to pull it out, right? Yeah. To extract it.
And what about isolates? How do isolates fall into and distillates fall into what? Is it an extraction process? Is it a byproduct of the extraction process? I see it here, in these notes, just as
So basically, when we talk about isolates, this is what's mostly we're going to see on the market, especially in the legal regulated industry. That was the word I was looking for, regulated. We're going to see a lot of isolates, and that means that they have like one specific cannabinoid that they're focused on, and a majority, 99.99% of that concentrate is this cannabinoid, usually more than 97% of it. And the difference between that and distillate, a distillate is sort of an isolate, but it's created by distillation process. So the process that it goes through is different. And these are typically 85 to 95% cannabinoid. So one is a stronger isolated cannabinoid than the other. It just depends on which one, which method we're using. I'll full disclosure, you guys, I've never worked directly in a lab to create these products. It's really my next, what do you call it, internship, if you will, when I find the time to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, but this is excellent because we are pulling right now information from these articles, and you're so great at making it understandable from like I can read it, but I don't necessarily, it doesn't process for me.
Right.
So Sister has a bunch of questions, and we're gonna get to those, Sister. So you might even hear some of the questions, answers here, but we do see your questions. So we'll start to. We're just breaking down everything right now, and then we'll start answering some of those.
Yes. So, go ahead.
Right. Extraction method, broad spectrum versus full spectrum. What are we talking about here, and what are people looking for and need to be aware of?
So honestly, full spectrum is much more difficult to find. And it's not enough people know enough about it and the benefits of having like the whole plant available. And so oftentimes when you get into a dispensary setting, this is what they have, so this is what you get, and then you love what you get, so then you want it again, right? And so now you're looking for high THC percentages and things like that. You really should not shop that way, by the way. You should definitely shop for more broad or full spectrum. And then also look for terpene profiles, because that's also going to be beneficial to how your body uses these cannabinoids. But the body doesn't really, I mean, it processes it, but the body does prefer that there's more than just the THC. Which is why we experience like an overconsumption. But broad spectrum generally means that it's a complete lineup of all of these all of the different cannabinoids that we have access to, and terpenes, except for the THC. So you're going to find that a lot in your CBD products and your CBD stores. You're going to find mostly isolates or distillates in your regulated market. And it's going to be really difficult to find the full spectrum. Full spectrum is the whole plant extract. So we're talking RSO, but RSO that's not been created to just contain
on the shelf
the THC and CBD. RSO that has whatever the plant produced. So full spectrum is whatever the plant produced as genetically as a plant. All of those cannabinoids would be made available in this concentrate. They would all be made available in this concentrate, and it's in this extraction method or a creation method. Again, that I have not personally ever made RSO, but the Rick Simpson actually has the recipe released on his website, and he releases it all the time. He does. If somebody tries to sell you the recipe, it's not Rick Simpson. I mean, you can find it online for free everywhere. It's just about how you make it and how much attention you put into the process.
and your plant.
And how much time you allow for evaporation and things like that. Because when you're using any type of solvent to create your product, you want to make sure that that solvent is a majority gone. Like if it's around, it's in such minuscule percentages. It's so minor percentages that they're not even noticeable, right? You want that solvent to be pretty much out of there, and that's why we do testing on the regulated market as well.
And that's what you see, BHO, that's butane hash oil, PHO, which is propane hash oil. There's the question of it, what is better? Well, if you could, minute amounts, like, oh.
It's better to celebrate 420 when it comes around, when it comes around. Celebrating 420 when it comes around, when it comes around. That should be our theme song.
Another question in my head, but I'll back up to it. But I wanted to go more. There was another question or another letter combination, but it was really just I think I said C. Yeah, I'm not even going to say it because I'd have to go looking for it. It's in one of the articles, but it basically said it was a second process for BHO to purge any additional, or trying to get, again, the lowest testing possible for that butane. Knowing as I like this, there's my new trace amounts of butane being burned off the review or whatever, onto my flour. And so CO2 extraction,
yes,
is also another form. So those were the three that I found.
They also can do nitrogen extractions too. Okay. We can get into we can look. You know what? We have already made this note, but I'm going to let you guys know that we will be looking for an extraction specialist to come on and maybe explain the different levels of extractions a little bit better than I can. I'm explaining this from what I've read, what I've studied, a little bit of what I've seen in some labs, and my experience with these products. So just full disclosure on that.
And I'm an outsider on a lot of this. I mean, I know about oil and I know about extraction. I know how it applies in different ways, but it has always been, once I left the dispensary and was not actually, like, I left it back up to, my dispensary agents after I sent them out of clinic to talk about the products, so right. I'm behind in, product in this industry. So I'm loving having this, and even just, there's a little list here I want to read off to kind of, again, break into some of these questions that Sister has about the difference between plant extracts and then cannabis concentrates. Okay. And so, like Canna Queen was saying, cannabis concentrates, we talked about hash, talked about scissor hash, just using that, whatever's coming off of our scissors to, drop onto our joint later. Keef, y'all know what keef is. That's I got a whole little. I need to do a little. I got pancake now. It's a keef pancake now. But that's what's when you're grinding, and that's keef collector. So, and we've got bubble hash. So that's a ice water process.
Yes.
Again, solventless. And rosin. I don't know much about rosin. I know that people that have done it, that went through some processes that really got into the technique of making it. And it really confuses me with the question of resin, live resin.
Okay.
And so, because this list is saying that live resin falls under a plant extract, along with oils, wax, butter, crumble, shatter, and isolate. So those are other, and those are what we find in the gram jars, right? Wax, butter, crumble, shatter. And oils are in pens. Is that the easiest way
to? Let's start with your first question, and then I'm probably gonna have you ask. The live resin versus rosin. First of all, live means that it is not cured. So anything live means that it was basically flash frozen before it went through its process. And then so live resin,
cut off the stem and flash frozen to be processed into.
into,
So
yes,
it didn't
alive.
dry, didn't develop.
No, it was alive. Yeah, right from live.
Okay.
So I have an article up because this too sometimes confuses me. So it's okay, you know, it's if you guys are confused between those two terms, they're so closely related, right? So I've got happyvalley.org up on my screen right now. To compare sheer potency, live resin generally contains more THC. Its extraction process is more difficult than rosin, and so it's generally more expensive or more labor intensive. This is according to this website. Again, you know, we're going to bring on an expert in this on our next round. So let's see. You can get different live resin in different varieties. Live resin comes like in what we would call a sauce, so it kind of looks like sauce. It's got a lot of terpenes in it, and it's got little crystals that are THCA crystals. So this is a no heat process. Anytime you have THCA involved, it's a no heat process. Because the heat would turn those crystals into THC, which is what you would do when you use those. They have batter and or butter, batter spelled with T or D, whatever. It looks like a little batter that you would use to make cookie dough or whatever. Also terpene heavy. It's the colors that you want to see are kind of like an amber color when you look at these. They are pretty high THC intensive. And then they also should smell like they should have a terpene smell. They shouldn't have like a stale smell or anything like that. You got diamonds. Diamonds are THC crystals. They're like isolated THC. Also have high terpene content, and then the sugar. It looks like sugar. Um, little sugar granules, and they just, you know, they come in different forms like that. With I'm looking at the extraction processes here. Give me just a second on that to tell you like the real main difference, which is the extraction process. One uses like a heat press, and the other does not, to my understanding. So this other article from Precision Extractions say that both live resin and rosin have a similar output, a potent extract that utilizes the natural resin found in the cannabis plant. So live resin, after it's extracted, is soft and pliable. Again, it's an amber color. Often you'll see it in sugar. The process for that is, it says it requires a unique skill. This is something that I definitely would love to learn. So it's frozen immediately after harvest, and then it's extracted using light hydrocarbon solvent. So this one is not solventless. Sometimes they use butane or propane, but it's a live extraction using the old solvent methods. And it requires special equipment because it has to be cryogenically frozen. And there's some risk of fire, so you have to have special storage and
That seems
things
like
like
a
that.
lot to make this happen.
Yeah, it does go through a lot. So that's why you'll see that it's mostly I mean, it gets pretty costly. It can get pretty costly. Just depending. Live rosin is crafted from proper material. It creates an output of some of the best extracts. The final consistency will be determined by how the rosin is finished, and there are several variables that can be manipulated after the rosin is pressed to create the ideal consistency of your choice. So, most producers will opt for a common cold cure finish for the rosin itself. So we're not talking about the plant, we're talking about the rosin. When we're talking live, again, you're going to freeze the plant material as a live product. So rosin is made by applying heat and pressure to fresh buds, so fresh flower, hash, or keef. So sometimes what happens is there will be rosin pressed out of the flower, many of them. It takes a lot to get out of the flower. And also special presses and things like that can get you better productions. Of course, how you grow your flowers and how much they produce is going to have an effect on that. But some people again press the keef or press the hash that comes from the live flower. And of course, this company sells those presses, so you know of course they have a whole line of them. But so that one isn't generally speaking is solventless, whereas resin does use solvent, but both of them use like flash frozen process to create the products. Just one is with a solvent, one is without. I hope that helped.
Yeah. I mean, we're definitely going to have, when we break down CQ LLC, we're going to have a little concentrate, I feel like, module pod.
For sure.
So this is excellent. I hope that everyone that's here is enjoying what we've got going on at the Cannabis Closet today. Canna Queen laying down some info for us. So let's see. And I'm MJ. You're MC today. So Sister has questions about concentrate versus oil. Now that we have this breakdown of extraction methods, concentrates, let's talk about how we're consuming them and the methods that we actually utilize these different, what's better for this or that. What's my sister's asking, she has a terp pen. What should she use best for that? People use nails and rigs and that whole thing that scares me with torches. And again, a different, what you're using and why. Let's start with the concentrate versus oil question. And she's also asking, what is in the oil? Is there extra things in it?
There could be extra things in the oil to create viscosity, but a lot of companies are going to using more terpene methods. So yeah, you want to be careful. I mean, they do test the oils. The oils are all tested, and the things that you, I guess, shouldn't have are in low percentages that make it safe for public consumption. We want to, generally speaking, stay away from anything that has propylene glycol in it, listed in the ingredients. And we want to look for companies and cartridges that try to utilize other methods for viscosity to create the oil. Because that's what's happening, is that we have these, it's the plant oil concentrate, right? The way that, and again, I'm not an extraction expert, so we will get somebody in to like further explain this, but the way that it's processed creates its form, whether or not it's going to be sugar or batter or shatter or oil, right? And with oil, of course, you have to create a situation where it stays an oil, it stays as an oil. So you have to put those cannabinoids and terpenes into a situation where they can maintain that status. So a lot of people are because now we're starting to see more terpene utilization, that is one of the things that can help. So terpenes in liquid form can help create that viscosity, and we're starting to see a lot of that utilization.
So like capsules, we put oil in capsules,
yeah.
and also
We want to say, I always want to give this disclaimer when we talk about so the oils in the capsules are probably more food product, and generally probably like a coconut oil or something like that helps with that, or something that we can ingest that way. But terpenes can also be used. Natural plant terpenes can also be used. Generally, you can eat that oil, but I mean, it's really not meant for that. It's more meant for vaporizing. So when you're using oil cartridges, you are vaporizing. You're adding heat to the oil, which is causing a vapor, and that's what you're inhaling. I always have to do the disclaimer of don't buy any oils that you're not that you don't know where they came from. Don't buy off-market brands. Make sure that they came from a legal and reputable industry space. And I say that because we had that whole thing right before COVID was killing us. Vaporizers were killing us. And they were off market. They tried to blame us for it, and it wasn't us. It was off market brands. So just be careful out there when you're using those oils. Those pens can come in pretty handy. I use them all the time. Distillate for me doesn't have the kick that I need, that I get from flour. Even though it's a concentrated product, and it tends to be stronger than flour. It just depends on who's creating the distillate and how often I'm using it too. So, when you have a pen in your hand, you tend to consume it more. I would say be careful about that as well. So it's just a very convenient thing to have. And I know that I sit here and I smoke every week, every day, you guys, all day, every day. But I will also say that combustion is probably the least healthiest, although it does have its place. It does have its utilization. Is probably the least healthiest form of consumption. And I think if inhalation is a choice, that one might want to consider using an oil pen, maybe a strong one. And also companies like Eureka, for example, are putting live resin in oil form. And so that's a little bit stronger than your distillate, just based on how it's, processed, and how much of the concentrate you can get out of the plant through that process. So yeah, I think everything has its place, honestly, except for those people that were trying to sell the snorting stuff. But outside of that, I think that everything has its place. We want to get it from a reputable space, or a well-known provider, even if it's like your homegrown caregiver. And then make sure that if we're using any type of solvent, that solvent is pretty much gone before the product is released to the general public. I like concentrates in solid forms better. I find that I like the flavor better. I like the potency better. Even if there's similar potencies, I feel like I can feel the difference between. I don't know how you feel about it. And it just depends on the person, honestly, and what they need and what they enjoy.
I was going to say, I feel like it does depend on, the person. And again, even going back to the nose things and the terpenes,
Yeah.
that, when we're talking about these concentrates and the effects, and, and the flavonoids and what we're tasting, when we inhale it too, through this, through the oil. I started using the terp pen. Mine's clogged right now. I can't even use it right now. But
I love pens, by the way. the ones that you load with your own thing. And also the one that you have has a 510 adapter, so you could load an oil on there as well if you so chose to do so, I think, right? Or is that a different one? Do you have that?
This one's just a simple like heat, so that's the thing. Like, I think I
Oh
always
yeah, but can you screw the top off of that? And does it have, and can you see your atomizer when you do that? So I think you can add a 510 adapter. So you can put a cartridge, I think, on that as well if you take it off. And
okay, I got you.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm
it does
saying?
pull out. Yeah, because this is just
I like
oil.
those that you can load because they are easier to travel with. I'm not always a big fan of distillates, although I found a few that I do enjoy. Or like oils generally. It's just not my thing. But I do, there are some, you'll catch me puffing on pen all the time. I say that while I puff on pens all the time. But yeah, no, because I prefer flour. That's why. It's really why. If I have a choice, if you line it up, it's flour, dabs, oils. That's it. That's where I line up.
Right.
Smokable oils, I should say, because I'm not talking about ingestible oils. While that's probably one of the healthiest ways to intake our cannabis, is my least favorite. It's my absolute least favorite.
Right, because you're already taking a bunch of capsules. You're like, fuck that. I'm not taking
Why more? Right.
Um,
So that's why. But yes, more convenient. And with the terp pin, you can add, so that is like dabbing for me. So instead of putting an oil pin on there, I would just load it with whatever I want to smoke on. And then it's all vapor. So it's vaporized. So it's healthier a little bit. If you're inhaling any smoke in your lungs, it's not really anyways, but it's healthier than lighting your
it's a temperature boiling
right.
combustion, but
And I use leaf and paper.
That's another conversation we've had.
I use leaves and paper, so like, yeah, I'm not even smoking out of a glass bowl. So yeah, I like terp pins for that reason. With the ones that you can load, so some of them come with coils, and some of them come with like ceramic, or some of them come with stainless steel. I prefer anything that's flat and not a coil in mine, just because it's easier to clean, and that means that your atomizer, your bucket, lasts for longer. You don't have to replace it so often. To me, that's my preference.
Right. This one does have coils, but there you have replacement ones. You just replace it, and you can clean them, but you can clean them and replace.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so they're all replacement, right? You got to replace. You got to. But with coils, you got to replace them, to me, more often to get that clean flavor. And you can like Q-tip out like a ceramic bowl or something like that, and make it last a little bit longer. So that's why I like those. And then next down the line for what we call dabbing, or using solid concentrates to consume, would be an electric rig. I love the electric rig. It's precise. It's the only thing is, you have to charge it, right? So and again, I prefer like a ceramic or like a flat stainless steel, no coils on that. The one I'm enjoying now is the Dr. Dabber, but I have in the past enjoyed the Carta V, and also the Puffco. They're all pretty good machines. I've seen the Candy also has a pretty good
You
one.
have a little seahorse, right? So that one you don't have to externally heat, right? I think,
right.
For me, why and
Well, this one you don't have to externally heat either. Like, you just pop it in. Right. So that's why I prefer electric. Electric is my favorite. I prefer so I prefer dabbing on something like this rather than straw. But electric straws are an option now, like the Seahorse, and they're really good on the go, because you can just dip it into your little concentrate bowl and hit the button.
Right. And that's what,
which
this
is what that does
Mel
too.
and Dab. Yeah. So, and I don't know if you like, and this is where if you don't know, I'll have to ask some, but what the best for this is in terms of, is it the harder, or is it the more buttery, or, like in terms of the coil?
For the pens that you dip into the concentrate, it depends. If your coils are exposed, I would say something you can dip into. So like a butter or even a sauce would be good. If it's something that has like a hard tip that heats up, like ceramic, then something harder could be really good. Like I like shatter for those a lot of times, or sometimes I might go with a sauce or a batter too, but it, yeah, generally speaking, those would work for all of those. I would stay away from like sugar or any of the crystals or anything like that for those type of pens, just because it's hard to get the surface where you need it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then for something like this, like free advertisement, Dr. Dabber, give me my discount code back. If for something like that, it's a bucket, right? So I want something I can scoop and will fall off of my tool. So I would maybe do like a sugar or like a crystal, or even something I could break with my fingers to drop in. Or sometimes the batter is like more like a putty and less like a sticky like a sticky batter, right? So you can maybe like get a piece of it and drop it in, something like that. I generally stay away from anything that's flaky unless I'm going to use it inside of my joints, because it just falls apart the second you touch it. So yeah, that's, and then I still play with fire. So there are straw options and also glass options with glass bangers, ceramic bangers. That's the bucket. We call it banger. Or nails of like titanium nail, stainless steel. Sometimes you can get a ceramic nail. I don't see many glass nails. Usually it's a bucket or a banger. But sometimes you might get that. And then just because we're talking about those things, you can, when we're talking about the electric stuff, usually in something like this, you go cold dab. But with your pen, it would be heated immediately when you touch it. So the difference between a cold dab and a hot start is you put your dab in before you heat your element for a cold start, and then it heats up to the temperature, and then you take the dab. And for a hot start, you heat the temperature up first, and then usually you heat past the temperature, and then you wait for it to cool down to a temperature that is not going to burn your product, and then you put your product on the hot element. So it's opposite. But yeah, I think I might prefer when I like the old school, but I kind of like cold dabs, because you can kind of watch as it gets warmer and kind of estimate the anyways. It just what you have.
If I am doing dabs, someone else is setting it up for me, and I'm like not touching it. I'm like, if I have to hold a torch, I'm like, not really. I'm
not into it, right?
I'll pass. Even when you hand me the Dr. Dabber, I'm like, what do I do? Just tell me.
Yeah, don't do anything. So, I hand it to you prepared. I just hit the button and hand it to you. Don't touch anything.
I'm as old school as it gets and as simple, and that's why the Terp pen does also free advertisement, because since I've said it several times.
Holla!
I know.
Sponsorship, Terp pen.
We're looking for some sponsorship, y'all. We're looking to make
that money.
Make some things happen. But yeah, it's been up until this year again, up until this moment, probably because I do need to replace the tip. It's been great.
I want to answer a question that I just see on the screen, but I still want to answer all of the questions that you have ready for me. But will I get the same effect if I can't heat up my concentrate? So how first heating up your concentrate is the way that we get the vapors. So I have to assume that you're eating it. And if you're eating it, it depends on the concentrate. So if you're eating it and it's a heated process to create that concentrate, that means that it's already THC. So yeah, actually you're going to probably get more however edibles affect you more than you would, and it'll probably last longer because it'll go through your system, take longer and last longer. And also it's a concentrated amount, so it's going to hit you harder than it would if you would smoke it. So I'm going to say no on that. It would be a more harsh high if it's a heated process that created that extract. If it is not a heated process that created that extract, and it has majority THCA in it, some of that is already converted to THC. It happens through the whole growth process. That's another show. But if it's mostly THCA, then also no, it's not going to be the same. You will get similar effects, medicinally speaking, that THC provides. But THCA is the precursor to THC, so you won't get the high from it. It won't, because that's what the heat creates THC, and THC is the one that creates that high feeling, if you will. So I hope that answered that question.
I hope so. All right. And with that, let's see. I feel like that gets the whole better high using a concentrate. Is it more expensive than flour? If so, why? Yes, I feel yes. And it's the process. It's the process. Yeah. You're already talking about the flour, being a process to grow, and the cost of that, getting, through to the shelves. Then you're talking about that plus getting it to the next step, depending on, like we talked about, that was a really expensive process, to do X. And
I want to say rosin is going to be expensive too, even though it's a heat press process. It takes a lot of product to create. If they're starting their rosin from pressing the plant first, and then it takes a lot of plant material to create enough to create those. So it's going to be expensive too.
Okay. Let's see, where are we at? Sister wants to know if there are cons, the cons of concentrates and oils.
Yeah. My dab heads are going to say no, but that is not true. First of all, there's cons to cannabis. Cannabis has cons. So yeah, of course, concentrates and oils have cons. Some of those cons could be leftover solvent, so something we want to avoid. If they're in a regulated market, they're required to get their hardware from within the US. All of that stuff is supposed to be tested. But of course, if it's not in the regulated market, there could be some problematic hardware. There could be additional solvent thing. There's stuff in the oil that shouldn't be in there, etc. And then when I smoke a pen or something, a lot of times it's a little bit more harsh for me than smoking flour. So that's a con. But I would say the biggest con for concentrates is overconsumption in a quick fashion. So like your smoke, some people come at concentrates real hard, and like it's like, like your keyboard warriors. You came hard for somebody that just concentrates are concentrated cannabis. It'd be like if you took a spoon and ate the orange juice out of the container. That's it. That's what you're doing. So So it comes on as quickly as if you were to combust something or vaporize flour, which is pretty quick. It's like a 5 to 10 minute onset. And then you just took this like really big, huge hit. So now you're lightheaded, you're a little dizzy, maybe a little blood pressure droppage, right? So yeah, I think that would be the con is overconsumption. Not everybody is ready for concentrates or needs concentrates. Sometimes a microdose is what's good. And so I would say that's a pro to your concentrate pens is that you can take a microdose and put it away and utilize it that way without having to like light a bowl. It's not stinky. Whenever we vaporize in general, it's not going to, that odor's not going to stick to the walls and the curtains and the carpets.
It's not as invasive as
right.
skunk.
Very, very low key, and concentrates in general, very low key. I mean, if you're doing big clouds, then not low key, but like as far as odor is concerned, easy to conceal, generally speaking. If you can, unless you're out here with a torch and that's different. But yeah, I mean, there's really convenient ways now. Apologies to a coworker. I was like, what is that? And they had like a nicotine vaporizer, but it was all like sleek. It looked like something that you would use to take a baby's temperature in their ear or something like that. But anyways, I was like, what is that? And they were like, it's a nicotine vape. And I was like, oh, you got one of them what do they call them? Mods. I said, you got one of them Brad mods. And he like didn't understand me. And then took a puff of it and it smelled like food. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about. Y'all always come around here, act like you got food around a bunch of stoners and you don't have no food, Brad. Like, what is that? His name is not Brad. So anyways, I was just kidding a little bit. Kidding. But also nicotine's none of that's good for you. So,
it's funny. So my downstairs neighbor, he works from home, and I know he's also a partaker. But one day I just kept 1 week I just kept smelling bubble gum, like pink bubble gum smell coming up around my couch, and I'm like, what is this? And you know me, I don't have the best sense of smell. So if I'm smelling something, I'm like, what is going on? And I can only assume that they had some kind of other vape that they were using in there, because I was like, what is going on? And it only happened that short period of time. I was like,
Speaking of bubblegum, we have bubblegum Queen Kitty seltzer. We're discussing some changes, not to what's inside of the can, but what's outside of the can. And so it's still going to be Queen Kitty, but because we would like to expand our product line, we're working on some adjustments that we hope that when we bring them to you, you'll be super excited about, because we're super excited about making these changes and coming up with ideas. With that said, sometimes we might be in our Discord doing some brainstorming. So make sure
together. Yeah, we need some sessions. I need to, I haven't been, obviously everyone just knows, but I have time on my hands.
Yeah, that's new. That's a new thing.
That is a new thing. We're still letting people know, but not that they're listening to me right now. So maybe when they tune in, they'll have already heard. But yeah, we shut our clinics down. My job for the past 9 years, we are on the final stages of offloading our patients. Other clinics are moving into our spaces.
As happens.
As it happens, I have confidence in one and not in the other, and so I look at it as I'm rooting for the one that's gonna make it work, right. And I'm gonna and B and I are looking at this as one door closes, it opens up the other doors for us to do bigger and better things, right. With our, with what has been given to us, And so, yeah, you know, hopefully, yeah, I'm like, I want to maintain that relationship with B, and you never know, we may be in Nepal. Like, he is working heavily with Nepal and Kathmandu University and the government to, bring it back to Nepal in a research and development medicinal methods, and and so they've been plugging away for that, and that he can focus on that, and I can focus on Queen Kitty and CQLC and me, and and here we are. And so stay tuned.
So we're not going to drop our tagline. Don't worry, next. I know that you're sitting there concerned whether or not we were still going to be able to say pop this kitty. Absolutely. With the changes that we're making, we are still going to pop this kitty. Put it in your mouth.
It's only going to get better from here.
It's going to get better. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's
gonna get. We're going to be in. Pop on over. We'll break it down. We'll tell you. You already got a literal taste of it, and so we'll clue you in. And now the rest of you just have to go talk about Queen Kitty in your spaces, and let's get it. Get it out there.
Solo.to/Queen Kitty Seltzers. We have some really cool ideas coming down the line. We just gotta make sure that we make the right moves and motions. And so part of that is because this is a beginning of our project, of our company. We are going to do some early rebranding. But still go in a similar direction. It's just for the sake of expansion, of future ideas and expansions, and to avoid any type of confusion when those expansions happen. So, pop this kitty, put it in your mouth. Don't worry. We're gonna keep that, and we got some other stuff that is also going to just make your heart skip a beat. So it's really exciting, and so I mean, it gives us time to work together on that. You have some projects that you're looking at for potential as well. So I think it's a great thing. It does kind of suck whenever your cousin's in here like, that sucks. It does kind of suck when you gotta like move from your comfortable space, but we're growing, and so in order to grow, sometimes there's discomfort, and that's what is being experienced right now. But it's not this is not bad. This is good.
I'm trusting in the universe. She's always got my back before, so I feel like that's my I just keep that trust, and that I've been given the signs that we're on the right path. Like, even today's date, it's 117 backwards, and that's been my number this month. And so it is. It's painful. It was hard. It's it sent me into this whole other discussion with myself, but and also having to talk with B. It's sad. We've been doing this for so long, but I can't keep doing it. Someone else can do it, better in terms of the clinical aspect. And if I,
it's good. Do you know, I realized that I do on every drive when I'm by myself is I have a full, every time I talk to my therapist, we talk about, that I need to have these conversations with my inner parts, so that I can, move past and etc. And I'm like, no, I haven't done that. But I actually have. I have conversations with myself about things when I'm by myself in the car. I will turn the music off even.
I don't turn the music. I don't when I drive. I mean, if I do,
I have like a good cry. Like I even have a playlist that I'll listen to if I know, because I know that there's like songs on that playlist that'll make me feel like I need to cry. If I feel like I need to cry, like as not all the times, but like sometimes I have like a little good cry, you know, and like
Mm,
have this whole
mm.
it's crazy. But yeah, so
Yes.
thank you,
Yeah, for
Marla.
sure.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. We are rising up and leveling up. We're having the
Thank you.
conversations. We're yeah. The way we operate, we got to really just fucking move the fuck out of our own way.
Yeah.
Um
And we'd love to have some lovely financial investment and
yes.
flow.
Send
We'd love
investors our
some
way.
financial flow to help us move this journey along. I'm going to shamelessly ask because we are asking the universe to let us continue this adventure of Queen Kitty Seltzer. We are doing this on our own. It is coming out of our own pockets. It is being invested in by individuals who are being very generous with their loan and investment, and so we want to continue this, and so we will. We're willing to look for let's take it old school and
And this too. Like we
barter and
want
trade and
yeah.
figure out how we can all level up together.
Yeah, for sure.
And
We need a big money invest. We would like some big money investors. We could do it on our own. It's just going to take longer to get where we
this
would
takes
like to
us
go.
longer, and
Yeah.
but we want to keep it going. So
And also sponsors for this show that can help this show become a stream of revenue would be a lovely thing. So
let's grow our
definitely.
followers, if anything, as well. The more people that see us, the more people that hear us, the more we catch the attention of people that we spaces we want to be in. And so we want to keep doing this. We want to have fun. We want to meet with new guests, and so we're looking forward to that growth as well. And would love to. I mean, we talk about products. I would, I'm like, the whole way that now the industries work with this whole brand ambassadorship, and essentially how it has changed the face of marketing and distribution, and even representation. It's I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like, why aren't we utilizing that capability? And so we've got to start asking and saying it out loud that we're looking for these things.
Well, also, if we send you product and you say that you're going to make a video, please make the damn video. I mean, and also,
and and tag it and post
this
it.
is also not a sexist comment, because men and women alike, and I'm not talking about you in the comments. Men and women alike, when we say sexy, we mean sexy. We mean sex it up. The slogan for our drink is pop this kitty, and additionally put it in your mouth. So when I know that you are a sexy personality and I send you products to go home with, please send me sexy pictures and sexy videos. Okay. It's my PSA for that. I'm not asking people who are not sexy creators to do that. I would never ask people who don't put sexy content out to do something like that if they were not comfortable to do so. Just saying. I'm just saying. Oh, there's a video where a YouTube guy uses a hair flat. Yeah. So a lot of people from home, they will buy flour or they'll grow their own flour, and then they'll get some like parchment paper and then use a flat iron to create their rosin.
Okay.
Yeah. So you would have to get it from your own stock or fresh from somebody. You couldn't just get it from the dispensary shelf, because in fact, that is already dry.
Right. It's cured.
It would be very little to get out of that.
Yeah, the fresh flour thing. Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's 6:09.
Okay, so well, we're getting close to the end of the show. So a couple things. Follow Cannabis Closet Podcast on all platforms, solo.to/Cannabis Closet 420. Y'all don't go anywhere. We're not done yet. We still got a game of Would You Rather, and I have some good ones. Cannabis Closet 420 at gmail.com is where you can reach us. If you have any ideas about individuals who might be looking to sponsor our podcast, people who you might want to see on the show, ideas for Would You Rather, ideas for what you would like to see on the show, or like things you would like to hear about on the show, send us an email, cannabiscloset420 at gmail.com. And you can come hang out with us on our Discord as well. The link is in that solo.to/cannabiscloset420. As always, this show is sponsored by Queen Kitty Seltzer. Queen Kitty Seltzer, solo.to/Queen Kitty Seltzer is where you can find all of our links. We have Lemon Kiss, just plain flavor, and a bubblegum flavor. They are delicious. There is 0 yak in the back of that drink. That means that there's not going to be a film on the back of your tongue after you drink this refreshing water. So it will be nearly naked on the next go round, but it will also even be different than what she's showing you right there. We have some great ideas for that. So check out Queen Kitty Seltzer. Follow us, like us on all of our social media platforms. We are working on our website right now. And as soon as we have that up, we're going to get some merchandise up there for you guys. We are talking to a distributor right now. Our main manufacturer can do distribution. However, it looks like we would have to do it in cases. So you would have to like basically order a whole case plus pay $20 to $25 in shipping. So might put a a question mark out there for you guys to answer, a survey, if you will, if that's something that you would be into. If not, we're not going to take the time to set stuff like that up. But if so, definitely let us know. And if so, we'll work to get it onto our website. So what else for advertising? Oh yeah, if you want to get your King Palms, if you love King Palms the way I love King Palms, check out kingpalm.com and use this code KPTCCP May 15 for 15% off of your next order from kingpalm.com. That was a beautiful ad, actually. And last but never least, CQLC Cannabis Consulting and Education is where you can find us for consultations for your cannabis business. And also, if you're in the state of Colorado and you want to train your team for responsible vendor training, give us a call, 970-426-5985, or you can visit our website, www.cq-llc.com. If you have any questions, you can reach out, customer service, cqlc@gmail.com. Just so you know, as far as consultations go, we might Gordon Ramsay that shit. So, just be prepared for that. But we're good at what we do. We know our stuff. We're very well educated. I just want to say to the people that are following us and that always show up for us, thank you. To anybody listening on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, or Google Podcasts after the fact, thank you so much for supporting us on those platforms. And any of my friends that hopefully will hear this, maybe I'll clip it and put it, get a little snarky post on Instagram or something. But anybody that hears this that says they're my friend and says they love what I'm doing and they're always hyping me up but ain't never showing up on any of our platforms, either live or after the fact, get with it. I see you binging. I see you binging TV shows. You could put us on in the background while you scrolling on your phone. I see you. So make sure you're checking us out. We got interesting shit to say. And if you want us to have more interesting shit to say, then tell us what you want to hear. I mean, maybe we'll throw it out there. What's up, Carrie? Thank you so much for joining us. So we got the advertising out of the way. Got that advertising.
Ladies like is 6:14. What
I know we're doing it. We're doing it. Okay. Here it is. We're on time, lady. Chill out. We haven't hit the 2-hour mark yet.
I know. She's like,
it's a Monday, lady. Bring it down.
She had an early breakfast. That's what it is. She had early breakfast.
One more thing before we get into the would you rather. I got 2 would you rathers that are hilarious today, so we'll get to them. But one more thing, we are taking a hiatus after this show for the summer. And stay tuned on our social media. Make sure you're following our social media, because we are absolutely also discussing a possibility of changing the days of our show, so that we can bring you better content and also be awake for the show ourselves. Sometimes we're just so exhausted. We put on a great performance, but it is super exhausting. So we're going to talk about our scheduling and stuff. So just make sure you're following us so that you can keep track of when we're going to be on next. And here we go. We got 2 would you rather. So let's start with the first one. Would you rather be born with an elephant trunk or the neck of a giraffe?
I'm probably going to have to go with neck of a giraffe.
Yeah. I do want to be tall, but also I want an elephant trunk. First of all, I love exaggerated features. So both of those things sound absolutely beautiful to me. But also, the functionality of a trunk. You could throw things and people.
Have you seen the
water
fight with their fucking heads and necks?
Yeah, but like my neck hurts just thinking about fighting with my neck right now. Would you gotta fight you with my neck? Just be like, because you guys, they didn't say you didn't have arms. You just have the neck of the giraffe. So you just be like, would your arms reach up tall enough to slap somebody in the face if people had giraffe necks?
Do your arms match your neck? I mean, I don't you have to, unless you have to bend down to, or you're eating them.
No, you don't get any of the other features. It's just the nose or the neck. So the other features are your human self.
Carrie. That doctor is an asshole.
Why would you cover it up? I don't understand why you would suggest covering it up. That don't even make no damn sense.
No.
I got these from at Kapherin, KAPHERINNE on TikTok today. I was live, and this person just came into my live and asked me this question, and I was like, I'm not going to answer it right now. I'm going to use it on the show. Turtlenecks are not in right now unless you're like a computer mogul. So
I don't know that turtlenecks are ever in.
I wore them once.
I did too, and it was an awful experience. I mean, I wear like different cowl, but the ones that like the fold over one that and sit right here again. No.
Listen, some cultures put rings on their necks to extend the length of their neck. Why would this doctor tell you to cover that shit up? Fuck him. Fuck that guy.
It's beautiful jewelry to keep making.
Oh my God. I would love it.
And I'm sorry, I'm not appropriate. I'm just saying,
it's pretentious, she said. Unless, yeah, he is. Okay, so I would prefer. I'm the only one that wants a trunk. I want a trunk because be aggressive. Be aggressive. I want a trunk. I will beat the shit out of you with a trunk. I would throw water at you with a trunk. I would also, but I love the exaggeration of a feature on the face. I mean, not too much, but like, it would be fine.
Right. I do like your thinking. Yeah, like like it's okay. What's
I feel like fighting with my neck would be very painful.
well, other than that, I mean, otherwise they're not they're just hanging out, like eating from
eating from
the
trees.
trees.
You could get the top fruit from the trees, though. That would be kind of cool if you could get the top fruit from the tree.
Yeah,
that would be dope.
Yep.
But also, how big is my trunk? Because maybe I can too.
That is true.
Walrus fight with their necks too.
Yeah, that shit's aggressive too.
Okay,
it's aggressive. All right,
last one. Okay, because we are going to go over now. Okay, so would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
I can't even with the visuals. Okay, you said, would you rather fight 100
duck-sized horses
or
fight 1 horse-sized duck?
What type of horse are we talking? Not that I just want to know.
Clydesdale.
Clydesdale, okay, or or a little
regular ass horse, just a regular ass
thoroughbred, a regular thoroughbred, like a regular.
Sure.
I mean, well, there are different sizes.
Yeah, but like, okay, so like, have you seen a duck be aggressive?
I know, that's why I'm like 100.
I mean,
horses coming at you is pretty scary as well. But a horse-sized
duck sounds absolutely terrifying.
They are terrifying, just the one size that they are.
Yes. My stepdad, there was one of those white ducks. It wasn't a goose. It was one of those white ducks. And it always every season laid eggs in our front yard. And it never bothered anybody except my dad because it knew, like we all knew, right? But it knew. And so every time he would come out of the house, it would chase him down the driveway and he couldn't even cut the grass because it would come out of nowhere and just like all over him.
Oh my gosh. Duck size horse. I think I
would have to go with the horses.
I think so too. I think everyone is. I think we're all in agreement because.
So you know, wear steel toe shoes to that fight because they gonna stomp all over your damn feet.
But it's not as bad because they're duck size.
In the shin, you need shin guards. You need shin guards and steel toe boots because they still got the horseshoes. They got the. I'm not fighting a duck. I don't give a fuck what size it is. I'm going inside. I'm not fighting a duck. I don't give a shit.
I'm not fighting it. My oldest sister caught a duck one time just because she wanted to. My mom was like, "You can't." She's like, "I can," and she did. And my mom was like, "You just cannot tell. You could not tell her that she can't because she would, and it did not matter what it was. If it was saying something or doing something, she'd be like." She was the originator of hold my
beer.
I'm gonna go do it.
Hold my beer. She was like, hold my Capri Sun.
Mm-hmm.
She's like,
pretty much.
Like, here, hold my juice box. Yo, that party I went to for 7-10, it had fucking Capri Suns in the cooler. Yo, I drank like 4 of those things.
Dude, that's
quality drink and just like 3 gulps.
So with that brings us to brings me to this lovely thing I found on Amazon.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, wait, go ahead.
yes, that thing. It's on a TikTok list, so apparently it's very popular.
I've seen it.
The TikTok Magic Quick Frozen Smoothie Cup. It has a built-in freezing liquid that transforms your favorite drinks, such as cola or juice. It says sugary drinks. So do you think that, yeah, I'm not going to go there, but the
I don't know.
built-in, it turns it into fresh slush in just a few minutes.
Can I tell you or you could do a whole science experiment. Do y'all know it? You need 2 Ziploc bags, one smaller than the other. Like the freezer bags. Make sure they're good bags. You pour your liquid into the smaller bag, whatever that liquid is. You pour that into the smaller bag, you Ziploc that up. And then in the big bag, you have ice and salt. That's very important.
The salt's the important.
That's very important. The ice and salt in the bag. And then you just slush it around the little bag inside of the big bag of ice and salt. You slush it around. Be careful. You don't want the bag to open up or get a hole in it or nothing, right? But you slush it around. And as you slush it around, I would say probably 5 to 10 minutes tops, you have slushy. I do this with lemonade all the time.
Okay.
Like Simply Lemonade, the strawberry one, because that's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Oh, that's interesting. I've got reusable Ziplocs. Like, sister bought me the big reusable gallon bags, so I've got some of those. I could totally do something like that.
I bet it will work. So I think that the interaction of the salt and the ice makes the ice colder, and that's a little bit of the trick.
Well, yeah, that was one of the tricks working at the restaurant. Like, if you didn't have a cold bottle of white or champagne, you put ice, water, and a little bit of salt, and you spun that bitch for a few minutes, and then it totally would
it freezes the liquid.
Yeah, just to make it cold really quickly, and not freeze it though, because we weren't doing.
I want to say that potentially this gets into dangerous territory when you're talking about cans and shit like that, but potentially you could just leave if it comes in a sealed vessel, you could just leave it in the vessel and it would work the same way, but you have to know the consistency of what you're doing, because then it'll explode or whatever.
Right. So this is self-contained. It is a cup. Like you make it and drink it out of the cup.
Yeah, and you slush it around in the cup, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what?
It does say that it only has the whatever the stuff. It says a shelf life of 18 months. So what happens after 18 months? Do you just use it as a regular cup? Do you not use it?
I wouldn't. First of all, ew, what?
It says the built-in condensate has a shelf life of 18 months. It's washable and reusable. Simply rinse the liner back. And
what happens after 18 months?
That's what I don't know. Do you order a new bag? Is it
like is it a replaceable bag? Is it what do you call it? A gremlin? Is it like what happens after? What happens after midnight?
These are all things. So it says no complicated steps though. But
maybe
there are other versions and things to look at. So I don't know. I will give it a try and
report back.
Yeah.
And with that, I think this is the end of the show.
Yeah.
We are going to take a little summer hiatus. I'm not giving you a definitive date yet because we actually have not had a moment to discuss that. And we were going to do a Wednesday show, which I might still come back and do. So set your alerts. But it turns out we forgot what dates it was. And MJ is actually traveling on Wednesday. And so if I do a show, I might bring on a guest host or just come chit chat with you guys for a minute. But we will be back after our summer hiatus. We will try to post some content on these channels that you watch us live on. I will get all of our past shows posted on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, sorry, and Google Podcasts in the very near future. And that's it. And we love you guys. And stay tuned because we might have new days. And if you guys have days that you prefer, hit us up. Hit us up and let us know what days that you would like to see us. 2 days is our tops. So let us know what you're thinking.
Yeah, when would be the best time for you to chill with us? Does this time work for y'all? Do these days work for y'all? Would y'all like something different?
Yeah. So we'd like to hear from you. Hit us up, cannabiscloset420@gmail.com. And with that said, make sure you be nice to yourself. Put your mask on before assisting others. It's very important. It's very important.
It is. It is. Cultivate love. Bring it to you. You deserve it.
You deserve it. Send good vibes and good thoughts our way. We're waiting on some good news this week to happen. So I'm staying positive that the news is going to be great. We will see you guys on the next time. Check out our social media. Make sure you're following us. Subscribe, get alerts, all that stuff. Join us in Discord for some brainstorming. We love you guys. Stay lifted as always and enjoy your summer until we get back. We'll be back soon, I promise. We love you guys. Thank you for your love and